like to call the Monday, October 28th board meeting to order. Roll call.
Mrs. Nazario.
Here.
Mr. Ferguson.
Here.
Dr. Ballard.
Here.
Mrs. Washington.
Here.
Mr. Sturgill.
Here.
We have Frank Jacinto here to lead the pledge.
Yes. I'd like to introduce Christine Miller, principal, and introduce us to some amazing people.
Okay, so we need a microphone, right?
Yeah, snatch it.
Are we gonna need a microphone? Because Cam loves microphones. Can I take this off here?
Yes.
All right, tonight we have the students from Frank Jacinto Elementary School here to lead us in the pledge. Yeah, you're gonna get to talk on this. All right, tonight is, actually this month, it's Down Syndrome Awareness, and I brought my 3 friends from Frank Jacinto to give us the pledge. You gonna give it?
Oh.
I pledge to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic Thank you, Sophie. Cameron, great job. So I'll introduce my little friends. Isaiah Mendez, Isaiah here, is a first grader in Miss Sanchez's class. He is a son of Gabriel and Tatiana Mendez. Isaiah is instrumental in having students at Frank Jacinto show their pride in wearing mismatched socks to give us support for Down syndrome awareness. Cameron Pete, right here next to me, is a first grader as well at Frank Jacinto. He's the son of Adelina Torres and Kenneth Pete. So thank you. And Sophia Holloway, that's her. She's a preschooler at Frank Jacinto in Miss Hatsagani's classroom. She's the daughter of Glenda Rivera and resides with her aunt, Marilyn Gutierrez. So, thank you for having us. Miss Tatiana would like to talk to you real quick just about Down syndrome awareness and what it means to her and her family.
Hi, my name is Tatiana Mendez. Just wanted to bring a couple facts because sometimes not many people know about Down syndrome. There are 3 different types: trisomy 21, mosaic, and translocation. Trisomy 21 is a genetic condition that occurs when a person has an extra copy of the 21st chromosome. Trisomy 21 is the most common chromosomal anomaly in humans. Blue was chosen to represent people with Down syndrome's uniqueness and individuality. Just as every person with Down syndrome is different, blue comes in many shades and hues. Yellow was chosen to represent the brightness and joy that people with Down syndrome bring to the world. The vibrant, sunny color evokes happiness and warmth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, got some certificates. We also like to get a picture if we could.
Yeah.
So,
You guys ready for a picture? Yeah.
families too.
Families, Sophie's ready. You ready for this, girl? Yeah. We're gonna take a picture. Where do you want us?
Look what you get.
Oh, a certificate. Oh, thank you, buddy. Very nice. Thank you.
Thanks for coming to help us out.
We're gonna go around and take a picture.
Cameron?
I never took concert.
Same thing I did.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
You're well overpaid.
Okay, we're gonna go around front and have a picture.
You don't know that.
Little ones.
Yo, wait, it is for the doorway. Yo, bow, the multitude. 8,000 damage. Ditto! Ditto the ball.
But for the families, it's perfectly fine to leave now. It gets a little bit more boring from here on out, but thank you again for coming and helping us celebrate your
Thank you
beautiful
so
children.
much.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all the rest of the presentations are tied for second now.
Yeah, right? For sure. That was the best. You lost. Okay. Recognition of visitors. Seeing none. First hearing of the public. If you just would state your name and your address. And then
Danielle Stevens Hignet, 4410 Andover Avenue, Lorain. So, we have some concern for our kids in the schools. Technically, there was supposed to be a whole bunch of mothers that show up here with me tonight, but apparently they're not going to, and I don't know why. My son, Ethan Cole Stevens, is in 10th grade and goes to Lorain High. Okay, he's a very unique child. He wants to go to school, wants to learn. Very outgoing. But when he comes home and he tells me to go to the bathroom, you walk into a battlefield. I kind of have issues with that. Okay. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Well, there's fights in the bathroom. But they keep it in the bathroom so that they don't get in trouble. Okay. Well, that I need to address that. The school safety. So I went on and I looked up one of the things that kind of blew me away because, what was it, last week there was 3 lockdowns in the 1 week. There was a BB gun with live ammo, and then ex-students that was in the yard with guns, and then I can't remember what the other one, I think it was like 3. So that boggles me that a child got into a school with even a BB gun. My thought, unlike a whole bunch of others, metal guns. And I've heard it. I have a 21-year-old that graduated Lorain High, and the issues went on when he was going there. And I'm sitting there going, why aren't there metal detectors? When this is not just a every once in a blue moon thing of a gun, knives, but to make maybe parents feel a little safer, metal detectors or something in that matter. Okay, I went to high school in Orlando, Florida, in Pine Hills, and it was a rough area, and we had metal detectors in our Edmonds High School. And I'm sitting there going, this is Lorain High, and I hear all the time how people call this together, the hood. That this is a rough area to live in. And I'm going, not really. Not if you come from where I come from, then this is hate. But when I hear lockdown, kids having to be just disrupted from what they want to learn and having to stop what they're doing because there's stuff going on, that's disturbing. You know, and then I'm sitting there going, well, why aren't the parents taking accountability for their children? Why aren't there suspensions for these kids who are coming into the school and disrupting the kids who are wanting to learn? Where is that accountability? You know, referrals, detention, suspension, Saturday school. I mean, when I was younger, we had Saturday schools. And it wasn't just you sit in the classroom and you look at each other. You got up and you had to do stuff, whether it was cleaning walls in the school, whether it was doing something constructive for the school, or you're being punished. Because these kids who are coming here to go to school to do something with their future, they're being disrupted all the time. And it's not fair. And I was second guessing coming here because I'm like, watch us be the only people to come. And I'm like, well, you know what? My son, he needs my voice. And it's not fair if I pop out like, oh, apparently a bunch of the other mothers did or other fathers and parents, because somebody's got to say something. Our kids come here every day, and I teach my kids, this is a job for you. I got to get up. I got to go to work every day. I have to see people. I have to do what I got to do to make it easy for you. So you have a roof over your head. You have food. You have clothes. Your job, for me, is just to go to school. Go to school every day. Do your schoolwork. Don't disrupt class. Do what you have to do. Make good grades, because you're only here for a time frame. And then once you graduate high school, you have a whole future to do whatever you want. How can they do that when they're coming into school and being disrupted by unruly kids? Kids who don't care about what the other kids are trying to do with their future. And the parents not being held accountable for their kids' actions. You know, if my son come home and I got a letter or I got a phone call that my son disrupted a whole entire class, I'm old-fashioned. You know, he's gonna get a spanking. I mean, he's only 16, so it'd be kind of hard. But there's going to be punishment and grounds for that. And I'm just sitting here going, why is it, here it is, going on Christmas, and we're already having this many issues. I'm not understanding. Like, what else do we have to do, or who else do we got to talk to get these other kids that don't want to go to school on a daily, to stop disrupting the kids who do want to go to school? Like, is it just one voice, or do we have to get all of the parents with their kids are legitimately going to school to have a future? Do I have to ball all them up and beg them to come and sit in front of you guys, or somebody else to say, what can we do? I mean, I'm not understanding, what else can we do? I mean, am I the only one who feels like my kids are to school going, well, what's going to happen today? I can't even go to the bathroom. I mean, the mother posted on Facebook the other day that, or a sister, I'm sorry, her sister got held down in the bathroom and marijuana blown in her face. And I'm going, are you kidding me? I mean, am I really the only person, the only mom who's sitting there going, is that something that is bothersome?
I apologize, Danielle, and this is, it's like you're looking at us, we're staring blankly at you, so I apologize for the body language. But this is typically, our board meetings, this isn't time for dialogue, but I would like to talk with you. You don't need a crowd to have a voice, and no, you're not the only parent that we've talked to who has concerns about what's going on. There is some misinformation in there too, but there's also some very valid points that I'd like to sit down. And if you want to meet one-on-one, or if you want to bring that whole crowd with you, however you feel more comfortable. But if you could just wait till after the board meeting so I get your contact information. Or Krista, would you mind getting it? If you don't, and we'll reach out to you tomorrow to set something up.
Definitely.
Okay, but thank you.
Thank you.
I put something out there and they were like, oh, well, the second and fourth Monday, you can go and I'm like, okay.
We have all kinds of time to talk, so yeah, you're not going to be ignored. We'll call you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Could I add something? It won't
Please, go
bother. I just want to say thank you as well.
Mm.
And you, sounds like you question yourself, should I come or not? And absolutely, and you are your son's voice, and thank you for standing up.
And the voice of a lot of other kids who feel the same way.
Thank you.
Krista will get your information so he can, Dr. Graham will call you back. And, yep, You can go up, come up. If you just state your name and address, please.
My name is Teresa Fregoso Martinez. I live on 1520 Washington Avenue, Lorain, Ohio, 445. My son goes to Lorain High. He played for the junior football team. His name is Juan Sanchez. I'm here more so because I'm more concerned about the high schoolers. You know, these kids are growing so much, and they're going through so many emotions. And I know, you know, it's hard for us to attend to every child's needs, you know, when everyone has some type of different needs. I was wondering, and just a suggestion for metal detectors, more security at the doors, and to prevent from BB guns coming into the school, from knives coming in from the school, from vape pens going into the school. Like, I feel a lot of that is a major issue right now, and I feel since the parents, some are very careless, because I know I'm going through my kid's book bag every day, and some don't feel the need to do that. To give their children, I understand that, but when it gets this bad, we have to start doing something to protect the other children. And one way I feel is controlling what is coming in through those doors. And the only way to control it is having someone at those doors, making sure that these book bags are being searched, and making sure that none of these drugs are coming to the school. I don't know who to speak to about that. I am a very concerned parent, as she is. I worry every day, especially because the incident that just happened with the guns. You have so many questions. What were they doing on the school property? They were already expelled. How do I protect my son? What were their intentions in the first place? So I can only talk to my son and his friends, but I can't be there to talk to all the students and be there for all of them. I know all we can do is come together and find out how we can educate more parents on how to be there more, and also give their kids that personal space that they want to give them. But I'm really concerned. I'm concerned because I don't want anything to happen to my son. My son is my world. And I'm just here to hear what we can do about that, and what the board is going to do about that. That's all I have to say.
Do you mind?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So again, if we can get your contact information, and we can either meet one-on-one, but I think as a group, it makes more sense. And just real brief, and I know we don't do this much, but I heard metal detectors twice. The reason we don't have them is they're not effective. We can explain more detail for a variety of reasons. They're just not. It comes down to number of doors. You have to have armed people at the, so we'll get into the details we meet. But we want to listen, we want to share, and we'll figure stuff out together. So, but again, thank you for coming in. Far too often we deal with apathy, and I appreciate people who come and advocate for their children. Well, all of our children. So,
Right.
thank you.
Yes.
Anybody else?
I do have something to say, but I can wait.
No, you can
No,
do.
please,
No, go right
please,
ahead.
please.
Yep. If you just state your name and address as well.
My name is Amber Moore, 1583 East 30th Street. I've had one daughter graduate from the high school and another one currently in early college classes. Again, same concerns as them. Every day concerned. She wakes up concerned. She doesn't want to go to school sometimes. It's that bad over worry. But I want to take it back to the middle school. Currently, I have a daughter in Southview Middle School, and the level of toxicity there is ridiculous between the students. So I also have my son is at Hilton Steiner Rice, and they are implementing like friendly competition, like a sorting hat, putting them in groups or whatever. Can we get something like that in the middle school? Maybe to cause some distraction or something, but it's vicious. It is straight, it's vicious there socially. And my daughter doesn't read social cues like everybody else does. So if somebody comes up to her and makes fun of her to her face, she doesn't register that. And so it's gonna make it hard for her moving forward. So I don't know where I gotta go talk to somebody about implementing something to put in place to help curb the level of toxicity.
Would you also like to meet with the other
Yeah.
parents with her? Okay,
Yeah,
so-
I'll leave my information.
Yep,
with
we'll
Jane.
get it for you at the, Crystal will get it, and then we'll give you a call back
All right.
tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Anyone else? Okay. Can we approve the minutes from the October 18th special meeting and, no,
I move
the
that we
14th
approve.
regular meeting and the October 18th special meeting?
I move to approve.
Support?
Oh, I'm sorry, and the 24th. So we have the 14th, the 18th, and the 24th.
Again, I move to approve.
Support.
Roll call.
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Washington.
Yes.
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Any old business? Reports and recommendation of the treasurer.
I have item 8.01 for approval.
So moved. Support.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I think it's just amazing the number of donors that we have on our agenda every week.
Consistently, yes.
And it's so greatly appreciated. You know, I see class sets of books and, you know, cash prizes and things for the library, and it's amazing what people do every 2 weeks on our board agenda to donate to our students. I'd like to thank them all.
Yes. Roll call?
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mrs. Washington.
Yes.
Reports and recommendation of the superintendent.
I would like the board to consider for approval items 9.01 to 9.08, operations matters. I'm sorry, personnel matters.
So moved. Support.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Washington.
Yes.
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
I'd like the board to consider for approval items 10.01 to 10.07, operations matters.
So moved.
Support?
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Mrs. Washington.
Yes.
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.
I'd like the board to consider for approval item 11.01, other matters.
So moved.
Support, if I can go along.
We all-
We're always looking for chaperones, so yeah, oh yeah.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mrs. Washington.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Okay, and other than an update, actually, the city was going to be here today to share some information, and that's just being rescheduled.
Thank you. Any new business to share? Any committee reports? Second hearing of the public. Nothing, okay. Our next board meeting will be November, it will be a special board meeting, November 14th at 5 o'clock here in the board meeting room. And if I can have a motion to go into executive session for A2, C, and D.
So moved.
Support.
That's right, yeah, oh yeah.
Roll call, sorry.
Mrs. Washington.
Yes.
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
And will not be taking any action coming out of executive session.
Is that a public?